Hello, I'm Dr. Deena Stacer. I've been teaching parenting classes for the San Diego Family Court System since 1997. I have worked with over 5,000 parents who've been in conflict over their children. I have consulted with parents involved in some of the highest and most difficult types of conflict. I use a combination of mediation, education, and I have a sense of humor to help resolve these cases. I have teaching credentials ranging from kindergarten through junior college, a bachelor's in child development, a master's in leadership, and a doctorate in psychology. I launched my online co-parenting courses in 2009. Today, parents can take a 2-hour, 4, 6, 8, 12, 18, 24, 40, and 80-hour course online to help them reduce their conflict. Parents who have high levels of conflict should obviously take the most hours. Classes are located at www.parentsinconflict.com. How to identify a high conflict case. Often I get parents who come into my live course and they say, I don't know if I'm in the right class or not. And then I proceed to go through and define cooperative co-parenting and conflictual co-parenting for them. And then we talk a little bit about, well, what are the criteria that often get people into trouble? Parents who have frequent court litigation would often be considered probably high conflict cases. If there's been physical violence, intimidation, stalking between the parents, the children, or one or both of the parents alleges abuse of some kind, then that's another identifier for a high conflict case. And then chronic co-parenting difficulties over the smallest, the most minor child sharing issues. The other thing that parents may have problems with is that one or both of the parents seems unable to protect the children from the conflict. They invite the kids to be part of the journey. They want them to hate the other parent. They really do not see that the impact on the children is so detrimental. They don't have the insight as a parent to see that the children are in danger because of the hate and discontent that that parent is showing. The other one is that one or both of the parents encourages the children to take sides. You need to side with me. They play the victim and the children have no choice. They really get caught in the middle, and the kids do not have the skills to be able to disengage from that parent, so they end up having to make a very tough choice. They're so stressed. They really, really, really want the children to take sides, of course, their side. And one or both of the parents is unable to separate their own needs from the children's needs because they're so angry, they're so hurt, they're so frightened. And fear drives conflict. Money drives conflict too, but generally, if you look at everything, fear is underneath all of it. The level of fear for each parent is what drives conflict. The more fear somebody has, the more they act out, the more they have less lack of insight. Now, another one is that one or both of the parents refuses to share the children with the other parent. This is very common. It's probably occurred for you in some capacity. Sometimes parents, when they first break up, they're really, again, driven by fear. So they keep thinking, well, the kids should love me more. I'm the better parent. I need to have the kids. Or I'm so lonely because of the breakup. I need the kids to be with me. But refusing to share the children over and over and over again, going to court and having big fights over that and telling the children that you have to be with me, those again are criteria to identify a high conflict case because one or both of the parents has tremendous difficulty sharing the children. There are some parents that absolutely believe the other parent is unfit, unworthy, should not be in the children's life anymore. And then another one that's really huge is that one or both of the parents seem unable to move away from the conflict. The conflict has taken on a life of its own. One of the parents most often is driven to keep the conflict going because There are a lot of reasons, but because if I end the conflict with you, I'll never see you again, and I'm not over you. Because if I end the conflict with you, somebody will see that I can't be by myself. If I end the conflict with you, then what am I going to do for the rest of my life, and who's going to take care of me? And I don't know how to make decisions, and I can't make money, and you owe me, and how could you have done that to me? And there's a lot of issues and emotional stuff that goes on related to these kind of ideas. My husband is a family law attorney, and we were discussing a particular client this morning, and he said something about, we've got to get this thing settled. And he cheated on her. They have 4 children. And he said something to me, she's kind of a traditional woman. And that's a clue about the mindset. She thinks, I got into this with a commitment that I would be the stay-at-home mom. And then you cheated on me. You broke the soul vows, the spiritual vows. You broke the cultural vows. You broke our agreement about how you and I were going to go into the future with you making the money and me raising the children. And it's a mortal wound. It's hard to get over that emotional thing when somebody breaks that expectation, where a person is wounded to the core. And let's just go a little further. Let's pretend culturally, spiritually, whatever you want to call it, emotionally, that person relies on the depth of the promise for their relationship. So a lot of times people are unable to move away from the conflict for a variety of reasons. And one or both of the parents cannot build a new life away from the other parent. But there are a lot of parents that they really do not know what to do with their time alone. They're very lonely. They're afraid to be alone. They don't like to hear what goes on in their head. They don't have the internal mechanism to be able to calm themselves down. They don't have the insight to say, well, what else can I do with my time? It's pretty cool. I don't have to be here raising the kids the whole time. I've got this opportunity. But a lot of times these parents are so lost, they don't know what to do. And so they really can't move on. They're still stuck in the past. They're stuck at trying to get the other parent back. And if I can't have you, I will destroy you. So that's one of the other pieces that goes on that can identify a high conflict case. Another one, which is a really good indication, is that one or both of the parents have been represented by several attorneys. It's one thing to get an attorney and then go, you know what, they didn't do their job. It was a bad recommendation. They charged me a lot. They're pretty litigious, and I was trying to settle. But if you've had 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 attorneys, or the other parent has, that's a pretty good indication that person has burned out people. They haven't paid them. They've wreaked havoc in the office. They have a high conflict personality. There's a lot of stuff that goes on when somebody keeps finding other attorneys. These high conflict cases, of course, take a lot of work. They're not just something you just sit down and settle. Money and emotion drive conflict, and fear drives conflict. So when someone's had several attorneys represent them, that's a clue that there's a high conflict case involved. And then one or both of the parents may have earned a very negative reputation with the court for being very difficult. The size of the files, 16 boxes of files. They've been back for 7 years. They've never settled. Somebody has just absolutely got plenty of money to try to burn through, or somebody is trying to spend the other person's money to pay them back and keep them involved in the court system. But, that's just part of these high conflict cases. So, Dr. Deena, looking forward to seeing you at parentsinconflict.com.